Hi folks, welcome back to the Addicted Bookworm. Alrighty, so it is still Wednesday, and I finally finished Terry Pratchett's Mort. Today I returned several Kindle Limited books I had not yet read. I will get back to them in due time. Um, but I did that because I wanted to borrow like the entire um, Mudflat Murder Club series. There's like four in the series, but three have only been published. The fourth one is coming out, I believe, towards the end of this year. So I really wanted to read the three, so I'm ready for the fourth. And I will tell you, I am absolutely enjoying that book, the first book, and I probably will end up acquiring all three books. That way I can go back and reread it, because I can see myself rereading that book and everything. So I was reading Mort digitally because I wanted to take it to work. However, I discovered quite clearly that I was not taking it to work. I was actually just reading it at home. All right, so Mort. So Mort is the first book in the Discworld series that is all about death. So so each one of them have a symbol on there, like the hourglass is death, and death appears in all except two books. But they kind of separate it based on like who the main character is just basically about. So Mort is about a kid called Mortimus who goes by the name of Mort, and he has to find a apprenticeship in order to, you know, be able to support himself. It's time for him to leave home. It's time for him to make his own way out in the universe, and he happens to become Death's apprentice. And Death gives him the opportunity that a lot of people don't get. He gets to live in the land, basically between the land of the living and what's beyond, and he gets to learn essentially how to become Death. What ends up happening is Mort meets Death's daughter. Now, she's adopted. She's not his biological daughter. These two are the parents of Susan Death, who appears in Soul Music. Anyways, so what happens is Mort meets her, and also he meets Albert. Albert is a wizard. He's been in the Death House for thousands of years, so everybody that he knows is dead and gone. He would rather be in Death's house than go forward, because there's people that are waiting on him, and they are very mad he's not shown up. So during the course of this book, Mort does things that causes the fabric of the universe to start unraveling, and Death finally realizes that he has to put a stop to this before essentially there's nothing left. At least that's my own impression of why he's doing it. There is a battle between Mort and Death, and what ends up happening is Death decides to do something he normally does not do, and that is he flips the hourglass over. And what that does is it gives Mort and Death's daughter all these years of, they get married, and of course we all know that they're going to have a child together. But Death kind of feels like, oh, I've finally been invited to something. Anyways, I know what happens to Mort and his wife because it's heavily hinted, and also there was an animated movie that features the death of Mort and his wife. So that's how we know that Mort and his wife died. Anyways, absolutely enjoyed this book. I hurried up and got it read because I didn't want to be like, oh, it goes back to the library. So I am very happy with this book. I love it. So the next book in the series is Sorcery. I've already read that book. I already have it in there. So actually the next Discworld book that I have is Weird Sisters. I bought this like I think a year or so ago, so I'm finally going to get around to actually reading it. It's part of the next pile of books that are over there. This week I am going to be getting pyramids. It's pyramids and guards. So we're going to be going to other parts of this world. So, and also, death appears in those two books as well, though kind of maybe a cameo or something like that. Alright, so I am going to be borrowing this from the library, and I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle, and that is going to be A New Lease on Death by Olivia Blackie. This is I saw this book on DoorDash, on Barnes and Noble's DoorDash store, and I was like, wow, I really want to get this book. Thankfully, they had it at the store that they went to. So this is the first book. It is a mystery, and I am really looking forward to reading it. It's about this woman. She dies, and outside of her haunt, years later, another person dies. So they have to kind of team up. Her and this living have to team up to try to figure out who wanted this man dead. So very excited about it. I'm going to start on this book tomorrow because I don't want to start on it today. So yeah. So that's it. That is the books I've read. So now I'm officially halfway through the 4 books that I did pick up last month. And yeah, so the only books I'm picking up from Barnes & Noble this week via their website is going to be Guards, Pyramids, and I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on that one book that I was not able to get my hands on, and we'll see what happens. So very excited about that and everything. I'm actually going to place those 2 books in there with the pages facing me so that I know that I have not read those books. Okay, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.